short weeks away, and Rumpure Sports is gearing up for the season with the best deal in DFS.
For a limited time only, we are offering new members a 15% discount for the life of their subscription, including SaberSim subs. Simply use the promo code NFL15 when subscribing to take advantage of this great deal before our prices go up.
And at RPS, we don't just give you access to one sport. When you subscribe to our premium service, we give you access to all of our content, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, and so much more.
And we're not going to charge extra for access to our preseason content either. Our memberships include all of our content, including the NFL preseason. The best DFS players in the industry give you access to their core plays and slate strategies for every sport and for every slate. Simplify your lineup building process by plugging in picks directly from the top players in the world. Watch our premium live streams to gain a huge edge on the competition. Our guys are live up to lock for the biggest slates, walking you through their last-minute decisions, analyzing breaking news and injury alerts for the major sports.
Again, for a limited time only, you can access our industry-leading DFS content for 15% off our already low price. SaberSim packages are included, so sign up today using the promo code NFL15 for 15% off your subscription for life and start building winning lineups today.
What's going on, everyone? AP over here at Rumpure Sports, bringing to you the Strokes Gain Show. We're getting down to the thick of it. We're in the playoffs right now. The BMW Championship. It's a no cut of it. Down to the top 70 golfers. In this field. Can't really say in the world. Got the live guys that aren't obviously in this thing. Some of them qualify, would be in the mix, but. Anyways, let's bring in the fellas. We got Hoop, we got Snyder. Hoop, what's going on, my man? How was your week last week?
Not a great week. I had a bunch of Willie Z, but a lot of missed cuts to go along with it. I had Willie on my main team. Still didn't do all that well. So kind of looking to bounce back here. I think this is interesting setup here. Sounds like the bomb and gouge approach might be the winning recipe where we need Bryson back in our lives. I mean, this seems like a perfect setup for him, but we do have some big hitters on here that I think will take advantage of the course this week. Loaded field, obviously top 70 guys, and the pricing on DK pretty soft. I mean, Cam Smith was the highest priced guy at 10.7, then Rory at 10.5. Well, Cam Smith is out, so I think we end up seeing more ownership on these top end guys because of how easy it is to play them.
Yeah, huge shout out to JJ, Uncle Dunkle on the bet side, won a massive bet on Willie Z, and then Allie Mack, she hit another outright winner on Will Zalatoris last week. Really impressive. I know Twitter was going crazy. Everyone was saying, how they had the outright, and everyone did. Moms, brothers, uncles, cousins all had Willie Z as the outright, but those, Ali, JJ, were actually very high on it on the shows prior to it actually happening. So huge shout out to all of those, or Ali and JJ. The other thing that's crazy is like DraftKings must have gotten absolutely taken, because I don't know if you guys saw the odds. Everyone's 14-1, like everyone. Yeah, and it's like, man, that tweet I had, just like, their butt cheeks are clenched. And they must have gotten taken. So absolutely phenomenal week. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, hopefully you had an outright on Willie Z, because it seems like everyone did. Snyder, let's bring you in. I know you've been a Willie Z truther all year long. And talk to us about your week, man. How'd it go?
Yeah, it was a pretty good week. I also was one of the people with the 23-1 ticket on Will Zalatoris. It was all right, but yeah, we got to the winner's circle there. I'm happy for him. Glad that he finally broke through. He was getting a lot of hate there for a while from a lot of people down the stretch all through the season. Oh, he can't win. Boom, he finally breaks through. It'll be interesting to see if we see that kind of break the seal like we saw for Scheffler and we saw for Fino a couple times this year. But yeah, my DraftKings was all right. I mean, I think I lost a little bit because I had a lot of Billy Horschel. I had a lot of Russell Henley. I had a lot of Rory as well. But I did have a lot of Zalatoris. I think one of my 3 main lineups did pretty good. So, I mean, it was all in all profitable weekend thanks to the outright ticket. But looking forward to this BMW Championship at a new course this week. It'll be interesting and fun to break down with you guys.
Yeah, we got the BMW this week. I'm not even going to talk about my week. My Billy Horschel, Russell Henley, 2 guys I was very high on, missed the cut. Luckily, that's not going to be the case this week. You know, it's a no cut event, so we can't have anyone missing the cut. But as we always say, these events, while it might feel a little bit better on the surface because all your guys are going to get through unless they withdraw, it comes down to scoring, and it's actually much more difficult. And there's less of an edge, if that makes sense. But I've been looking at a lot of things scoring wise. And then also, like, and I think you guys are going to be on board with this, but like momentum, there's something to be said when you look at, so I would look back over the last few years, man, some of these guys, when they come into these playoffs, there's a lot to be said about momentum. It has me thinking about guys like Tony Fino right now, Willie Z, etc. Those guys continue just to, perform at elite levels. We saw it with Patrick Cantlay last year, who was the FedEx champion of 2021. He scooped up his 10 mil and all the other winnings that went along with it. So will it be Willie Z this year? Will it be Fino? It could be. Those guys are sitting in really good spots. Rory up there. Scheffler obviously is now in second place. So it's going to be interesting. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. Hoop, I want you to talk about our promo that we have going on, NFL 15. Give us a little bit of insight to what we're doing with the promo.
Yeah, NFL 15 basically gets you 15% off your monthly subscription at Run Pure Sports for life, as long as you don't cancel. Over at Run Pure Sports, we have all sports for one price. So a subscription to runpuresports.com gets you everything, access to everything on the website, all sports, showdown, premium videos, everything that is on the site behind the paywall you get access to. When the new sports start, we don't hit you up for more money like the other sites. We keep one steady price. And right now, if you use that promo code NFL15, you get that 15% off month after month. It's a good time to obviously get in right now. NFL is about to kick off, and our NFL team is second to none in the industry. And also with the NFL starting and the team that we built, prices might be going up a little bit. So now is the time to join. NFL 15 is that promo code.
Yeah, very good. Another code. So Underdog, go over to Underdog, use the code RUNPEER. You can get $100 matched, 100% up to $100. And then we got Snyder and our show producer, Simon. Those two have been doing an excellent job at breaking down these best ball slates. I even have a bunch of best ball builds built. We had Big T on there. We had JSU on there on a show with you guys. Go to our YouTube page, watch those shows. Really, really good content. It's good stuff. I'm excited for NFL, just like you guys. And the content is going to be dialed in. But let's get to PGA. We got winners to be had this week. How we do it each and every week. We're not changing the format. We go tier by tier. Hoop, I'm going to start with you. Let's go 10K and up, like we always do. Willie Z up to, it's a four guys in here, but I think it's going to be important to continue to break it down this week. So what are we doing with this range?
Yeah, so Cam Young, obviously WDs. It leaves us with only 4 guys in this 10K range, which is smaller than we're used to. And, it's softer pricing. I mean, these top end guys, we typically see at least 11K, low 11K. Not today. It starts, or not this week. It starts at 10.5. With Rory, who looked like shit last week, could not get anything going, but he did admit coming into it. And Snyder, you had sent me this message, I believe the night before, that he hadn't picked up a club in like 2 weeks and he was eating like crap. So not, I guess, a surprising result when he ended up, going in there and missing the cut. But, this course, sounds like it's going to play to the Bombers, and no one hits the ball as far and as straight as Rory. Should be able to take advantage of this course. I'm hoping the missed cut last week keeps people off him, because I will be on him. AP, you talked in the opening about this is the time of year where guys kind of get some momentum going towards the end. And, one guy was on a ton earlier in the season that was very hurtful, John Rahm, but momentum starting to build for him. And we saw it, last week. Each round he kind of got better, finished with the 66 and T5 last week at the FedEx St. Jude. I really think he has a chance to win this week, so be on him. JT, not sure what I'm going to do with JT at this point. Kind of curious to see what you guys have to say. And then Zalatoris, in the past I would typically be off a guy winning the week before, but we've seen it so many times this season where guys just get that win and continue to play well. Scheffler, Tony Fino, I'm sure there's some other guys too. So for that reason, I'm going to be on Zalatoris. And we saw it last year with Cantley. Guys get hot throughout these playoffs and make a run. So I think I got to be on Zalatoris for that reason. So really like this top tier range. It's going to be easy to play a lot of these guys. Have to make a cut somewhere. Now is most likely going to be with JT, unless you guys convince me otherwise.
Yeah, you make a good point. Like with John Rahm, I think we've done the show, I mean, like 40 sometimes. I'm trying to figure out how many events there have been. But like we all agree, John Rahm, when he is in the zone, is probably the best player in the world. I think we would all agree. Like Scotty Scheffler is up there right now, but when you look at like whose swing do you want, who's the most consistent off the tee, and then when he gets a short game dialed in, it's John Rahm. I think all three of us would definitely agree on that. And I'm with you, man. Like the margin of error in the PGA, in these golf professionals is like so low. With a guy like John Rahm, when you see him get hot, you got to get on quick. And so I am with you, Hoop. I love that call this week. Rahm up here is very interesting because it's not going to take much. Maybe it's, it's that second baby coming. And now that is behind. I didn't even know his wife was pregnant again. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago or something, they had it.
Yeah. So baby 2 is here. And I'm telling you, I got 2 kids. Anyone out there with 2 kids knows, or 3, like when the second one comes, third one comes, it's not like it's a little bit different. You're not as worried about stuff. So I could definitely see John Rahm returning to form. Love that call. Snyder, Willie Z up to Rory. What are we doing this week?
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and just narrow it down to 2 guys here up in this range. I'm going to go right back to Rory this week after he looked really rusty last week, like we saw. I mean, he had some ups, he had some downs, barely missed the cut, ended up missing the cut, I think, on the number. Hopefully that lowers his ownership here. I think he's going to get some more reps and going to practice this week, unlike what he was doing the 2 weeks prior to last week's event. So hopefully he can knock that rust off, come out strong here. He's still right in the mix of it for the big payday next week. So I'm going to be back on Rory this week. I haven't really been playing Rahm this year, so I'm just going to stay off of Rahm, I think. I mean, Rahm, definitely the excellent upside. Definitely the best player in the world. When he's on his game, he's by far the best player on tour. But I just haven't been on him yet this year, so I'm just going to keep riding off him. I'm going to stay off of JT as well. I'm going to go right back to Zalatoris this week. Finally got that breakthrough win last week. That's got to be a ton of weight off the shoulders. I think this could open up the floodgates, like Hoop was saying. We saw Scheffler couldn't get the win forever and then rattles off 3 or 4 wins there right in a row. Fino, a couple wins back to back, and then finished inside the top 5 again last week off of those 2 wins. So definitely going to go right back to Willie Z. I think this course is going to set up really, really well for his game type too. I could see him just keeping everything going. I mean, he's now got confidence in that putter, and that could be a scary thing for the rest of this tour if he can get some confidence in that flat stick, especially inside 10 foot.
Yeah, very good. The Willie Z thing is interesting because I just wonder if like everyone's going to go back to him. The price, $10K. I mean, it's up there. It's going to be interesting, something to keep an eye on. I think so I got to get, I love Justin Thomas. Like he's like one of my favorite golfers. We all know that. The problem is, man, so I went back over the last 2 years and I looked at whenever we get these elite fields on, tougher tracks, not necessarily tougher tracks, more so elite fields. Justin Thomas in this group up here ranks fourth, like by a significant margin, and that includes his major championship this year as well. It actually goes Willie Z first, and then Rory, then Rahm, then JT. And so it's interesting. And then when you look at like JT's recent form, when you look at he's going to get ownership, he always does. When you look at he's like people are saying he's like the one guy who's played this course. That doesn't matter. Everything I see about this course, it looks super straightforward. Like I don't like you need distance. And outside of that, like it just seems like a basic, straightforward course. So I'm on Rory. I'm on Rahm. I think these two up here are the guys. I think Rory, I saw everything I needed to see last week. I mean, from you guys know what I mean. Obviously coming in rusty, but Rory's going to be a guy that gets it going. And then Rahm is the guy that we saw what we needed to see. So I'm on board with Hoop when it comes to John Rahm. I'm torn on Willie Z. But I do know that JT, telling you, maybe me fading him is what's going to help. So if you want to fade me, then play JT. But I'm going to be off him this week. Get on him if you want, because I'm going to be off him. Maybe that's what helps him out. But for me, it's Rahm, it's Rory up here. I'm really, really locked in on those two guys. And then Willie Z, I'm undecided. We can't play everyone. I most likely have to make a cut on him. I agree with you, Snyder. He checks all the boxes I'm looking at, but I want to keep an eye on ownership. I think ownership kind of trends back up. I think everyone's going to start talking themselves back into playing them, momentum and everything, which things I agree with, but we have to make cuts. So I'm going to say Rahm 1 and then Rory 2 for me. Snyder, Willie Z number 1 for you.
Mute.
I'm actually going to go with Rory 1 and Willie Z 2.
I like it. I like that. Hoop, your top ranked up here up top. Then let's go to the 9K range.
I'm going to go John Rahm. I'm with you. I think it's a John Rahm week. 9K range is loaded, obviously. I mean, the whole field's loaded, and it doesn't stop in the 9K range. Cantlay at 9.9. Did not like what I saw out of him last week. Just didn't look really into it all that much. Just an eye test thing. Going to be off of him. I don't want to steal Snyder's thunder. He already kind of tweeted out about this guy, but Scotty Scheffler at 9.8, it's the cheapest we've seen on him in a while. He was a disaster last week, but that was mostly with the putting. Played much better in the second round. I think this is a course he can take advantage of. So I'm interested in Scheffler at 9.8K. Tony Fino was solid again last week. I mean, so he's gone win, T5. He's just looking at this, every single one of his last 12 rounds has been under 70. That's very impressive. So I like playing guys when they're hot, and there is nobody out there hotter than Tony Fino. Xander, again, he was similar to Cantlay, just didn't look all that interested last week. But I mean, one of my rules is when Xander plays a no-cut event, I am on him. His results are typically pretty good. Fitzpatrick continues to play really, really solid golf, just all around. The one hiccup was at the Memorial, but outside of that, he's been on basically all top 20 in his last 6 or 7 events. Morikawa played him last week, probably going to get off of him this week. Sam Burns, not all that interested. I do have some interest in Hovland at 9.2K. These greens are very, very large, which should nullify his week around the green game. And then Sungjae and Tom Kim, I don't know what I'm going to do with these guys. I mean, really, for me, it's going to come down to when I start building my teams, can I get enough of these guys? Or do I just end up having to fade them? I mean, Tom Kim's on an incredible run. I mean, just absolutely incredible. Been playing him just about every week. At some point, he's got to have a down week. Is it this week? I don't know. Sungjae at 9.1, he's been playing solid as well. So I'm still undecided on him and Kim. But this range is loaded, and it is very, very difficult to make cuts.
Man, I'm glad you said that about Hovland. I think we're going to be arm in arm with him this week. When I look at how this course sets up and how kind of it sets up perfectly for his game. Very good ball striker where he, and then very good on approach. Where he struggles with is, around the green when we get these difficult courses that make you think and navigate these greens. Not going to be the case this week. Hovland, very, very interesting. I'm glad you mentioned him. Snyder, let's bring you in. Colin Morikawa, he looked good last week, man. We were on him. But unfortunately, I had my I think he was in the optimal, or he was in the winning lineup too. 9,400. I think he's going to be chalk this week. I have him right around 20%. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but what are we doing with this range, and what are you doing with Morikawa this week?
Yeah, this is an interesting range for me. I'm going to jump right to Scotty. I don't think I'm going to play Cantlay. I'm going to lean more towards Scotty for a cheaper price tag. This is the first time we've seen Scotty, let alone under 10K. This is the first time we've seen Scotty under 10.8K since March 13th. So definitely love the price tag here on Scotty. I think he's going to rebound big here. He had a really bad first round, played better in the second round, but just narrowly missed out on the cut. He was great with off the tee to green. He was good last week. The putter has just been holding him back a little bit over the last 12 months. Though this dude has been on fire with the irons. He's hitting 73% of his greens in regulation on average over the last 12 months. So the iron play has definitely been there for him. Long term, I expect a lot of the same. That driver is such a weapon with him too. I think he's going to be able to take advantage of this place. I think it kind of sets up maybe similar to like a Southern Hills a little bit. And that was one of his best courses, favorite courses that he had talked about. So I definitely like Scheffler this week. Tony Fino, just another great outing for him last week. His third straight top five. I think top five, Tony's right back. First, and a fifth last week. He's priced not bad, 9.7. I think that's fair price. I think that might even be a little low for his recent form and how well I think this course sets up for him. So I'm going to be on Tony this week as well. And then it comes interesting. I'm only going to play a couple of those guys up in the 10K range because I do like a lot of these 9K range. I think I'm going to be skipping out on a lot of the 8K except for a couple guys there. But like Fitzpatrick, he continues his strong form. He's finished inside the top 6 in 5 of his last 7 events. I think he can grind another solid finish here. Not sure if I'm going to get to him yet. He may have to be one of the guys I cut because I do want to go right back to Morikawa. He was very close last week. Just made one too many mistakes. I think he made 29 birdies, but with that came 9 bogeys and a double bogey. I think he missed 2 putts inside 6 feet down the stretch too that could have gotten him closer. But I think maybe like last week I kind of talked about Morikawa could roll into this similar to how Cantlay did last year. Cantlay came in last year, got on a roll in these playoffs. I could see Morikawa going top 5 here again. So I'm going to continue to keep playing Morikawa at that price tag. I love the price tag. Great ball striker. I think he can and that driver is a pretty good weapon for him too. So I'm not worried about him at all. Sung J M and Tom Kim right there, both just entering in strong recent form. I think I'm going to lean to Tom Kim a little bit over Sung Jam as I feel Tom Kim has the bigger birdie upside and the putter can get super hot with Tom Kim like we've seen. So I think I'm going to lean Kim over M right there. But my favorite play in this range is probably going to be Scotty Scheffler. I love the price tag and the savings there.
Yeah, it's a really interesting discussion. I think if you're in the camp to where you're playing momentum guys, you would have to argue like a Tony Finau over Scheffler in this range, even though Scheffler is world number 1. So like I get exactly what Snyder, like what you're saying. We're getting a massive discount, a massive savings and value on Scotty Scheffler, world number 1. But when you look at recent form, Tony Finau, first place, T5, he didn't skip a beat at all last week. The putter looked good. The ball striking was good. He's in the zone. Whereas, I guess for me, kind of like what I hope is like, I hope this low price tag brings people in on Scotty. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. Even Cantlay too. Like, I just wasn't impressed with what I saw from Cantlay last week. And obviously you could say that, same about Rory and stuff. The difference with Rory is I think, man, he's been gaining momentum. He's been the guy that has just been so elite down the stretch. Took a little bit of time off, makes sense. Scheffler was elite early on, and then the middle of the season also very elite, and then he just has kind of wavered down the stretch. So it's going to be interesting. Like I get what you're saying, Snyder. Like I think if you're on him, you go in on him big. That's how I would play it. If you're off him, I think you full fade him and you go all in on the momentum guys. kind of how I'd play it. So that's, I think, what I'm going to do. And that leads me to playing Tony Fino. I'm going to be very heavy on Fino. I was hoping that he would be lower owned here at 9,700, squeezed right in there between Xander, Scheffler, and everything. But I don't think that's going to be the case at all. But I just think this guy is in the zone. I think he's gunning for the FedEx Cup. And I could see him winning it. I really could. And if he is going to win it, he needs another T5 finish. He needs another maybe win this week, and then it's going to be, a battle between him, Willie Z, and, Scheffler. And so it's going to be really interesting. Morikawa, I was very interested in as well. I thought he looked very good. He's obviously found something. I think this is going to be a course that is fine for him. Not the longest off the tee, but the ball striking is there and the approach game is there. So I like Morikawa quite a bit. Xander, no cut event. Obviously in good form outside of what we recently saw last week. I think we can overlook that as well. Fitzpatrick, this range is so tough. There's so many good plays. If you have conviction on a guy, go in and play it. But I mean, Fitzpatrick, I think I'm going to make a cut here. I want guys who can score really well. I think if we see a birdie fest, it's going to be harder for Fitzpatrick to win. I'm not saying we're going to see a birdie fest. I just think, I don't know, maybe we see scores here. Like the course is long, but all these guys have distance off the tee. They're going to have wedges in, as long as they're in the fairway. So I think we could see birdies here. We saw a massive birdie fest last year at the BMW. So it'll be interesting to see. Sam Burns, we got to make cuts. I think he's going to be a cut for me. I like Victor Hovland a lot. Sung J M. We just talked about all these names. Sung J M maybe ends up being the popular guy down here in this range. But man, I don't think I can play him over Jo Young Kim, Tom Kim, who's like, all right, here, another thing I'm looking at, because it's going to be really important, but scoring, looking at DK points gained over the last 3 rounds, Tom Kim leads by a lot. Obviously, that includes a very easy scoring track, so it's a little bit misleading, but the guy's an absolute GOAT. I think he gets it done. I'm playing him over Sung J M, but my favorite play in this range is Tony Finau. I'm riding the momentum. I'm going all in on those momentum guys. So it's Finau for me. And then I think it's maybe Collin Morikawa, a close Collin Morikawa or Victor Hovland, very close second. And then I like Tom Kim too. So very, very difficult range. Snyder, you're 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Scotty. He's going to remind the world that he's going to win the Player of the Year this year. I think he's going to show up this week. So I'm going to go Scotty 1. And then it's tough. I love Finau and Morikawa both about the same. I mean, I will have some builds where I start Scheffler, Finau, Morikawa. I think it's pretty easy to do that this week. So I will have some builds doing that. So that's kind of where I'm at in this range, my top guys.
Yeah, I saw your tweet. I like that tweet a lot. And it would make sense for sure. Hoop, you're 1 and 2 in this range, and then let's go down to the 8K range.
Yeah, you and I are kind of in lockstep here. I mean, Fino definitely 1. Number 2, man, I don't know. There's a lot of good plays. I'll say Scheffler. So I'll kind of be with both of you guys, and Fino and Scheffler. Mentioned a lot of guys up top here, 9K and above. So you get to this 8K range and probably need to start looking to make some cuts. But it's not going to be with the highest price 8K guy in Cam Young. I mean, this track sets up perfect for Cam Young. Looked really good round 4. Second place at the Open, second at the Rocket Mortgage, 31st last week. I think he comes back here and is competitive. The track should set up very, very well for him. Spieth, you can kind of add to the list of guys that just looked like complete shit last week. I mean, he wasn't even close. Can be off him. Lowry played him last week, just hasn't really gotten it done at all lately. 46th place finish. Another guy that just kind of looks like he's going through the motions. A fade for me. I do like the next 2 guys though. I do have interest in Neiman. Played him last week. He was 13th solid basically all week long. And then Max Homa, I think, is a really good play. Wasn't great last week, but I think this track does set up well for him. Matsuyama is going to be like unowned because all the withdrawal risk and whatever's going on with him, but I'm not clicking that name. No, I'm a sucker for Corey Connors. I always have to be on him, so I have interest in him. Not going to play Hatton here. Wise, I think, is a very interesting play. He's just been playing very, very solid. He was 31st last week. Like him a little bit. And then Adam Scott at 8K is probably going to be a fade for me. So trying to make some cuts here. But Cam Young, I think, by far my favorite here in this range.
Yeah, I love the Neiman call. This just sets up as like a Neiman type of course. He's long off the tee. The irons look really good, and we've seen him in contention multiple times this year. So really interesting call there with Neiman. Snyder 8K range, obviously not as loaded as the 9K range, but what are you doing with these guys?
Yeah, there's not too much I like here because I like a lot of the guys above him, but I'm definitely not going to be off of Cam Young this week. I like Hoops. I think this play sets up absolutely great for him. He can just bomb it off the ball. At the PGA, he gained 7 strokes off the tee. He's been averaging 4.3 strokes off the tee over his last 10 events. So I think he's just going to be able to kind of take advantage of this place, cut some corners, do what he needs to with the driver. Last week, it was all the putter that killed his chances last week. He lost 5.5 strokes putting last week, but he still gained 8.4 strokes tee to green last week. So, I mean, he was still there from tee to green. It's just the putter just absolutely derailed him last week. So I'm going to go right back to Cam Young this week. I do. I think Corey Connors is a fine, good option this week. I do kind of worry about the upside that he brings for a no-cut event. I think he's like that steady Eddie that'll probably finish top 20. I'm just not sure if the DraftKings points will be enough for him at that price. I'm not sure. Adam Scott's another guy I was on last week. He'd been playing a lot of events that like he normally wouldn't toward the end of the calendar year there. I think he was really trying to get into this, get to East Lake. He's sitting 46 now after a top 5 finish last week. So he snuck into this week. He needs another good outing here to sneak into East Lake. I think that's been a big goal of his as he's been playing those 2 or 3 lesser events that usually we never see him there. So I think he's got some pretty good upside for 8K this week. That's about it for me in this range. I mean, I think Aaron Wise or Max Homa, definitely some upside plays here. I probably won't go to Hatton either. I don't think he's got the upside here. I'm not going to go to Lowry. Probably won't be on Neiman. I don't think he has the best birdie upside for that price tag. I would rather go with like a Tom Kim or something over a Neiman for just 400 more. So, or a Cam Young for 300 more. So I think it's just mainly going to be Cam Young and Adam Scott for me in this range.
Yeah, Cam Young, I have like down as maybe point per dollar the best play on the board. I think he's going to be very popular. I got him right around 22% owned. I don't care. He's a guy that I think we all should be very heavy on. This course sets up. This is like if you go and look at some of the like if you're trying to take some distance off, cutting corners and stuff like that for guys who can bomb it. This is just an ideal track for Cam Young. Not too many places for him to get into trouble. Bomb it off the tee, have a good approach game, make some putts, and score, which we know he can do. So Cam Young, really, really, really strong play. So I'm with you guys on him. Neiman, very interesting. Max Homa, I agree with Hoop. This is a good Max Homa course as well. Shane Lowry, no way. Jordan Spieth, absolutely no. Jordan Spieth maybe just I think he ships it in here. Like I don't. Hold on. Jordan Spieth is 17th. Okay, so he probably makes the top 30. Like I don't really know off the top of my head the point scaling, but it seems like it'd be very difficult for Spieth not to make the top 30 here. Maybe an average finish gets him in. I'm not 100% sure there how it all works, but I'm not going to play Spieth here. It just seems like he's kind of shipping it in. Shane Lowry, no way. Corey Connors, like I like Corey Connors, good ball striker, but I kind of agree with Snyder. I'll probably be off him. Hideki, no. Hatton, no. And Adam Scott, Probably not for me. So it's going to be Cam Young and one of Neiman or Homa for me. But I think Cam Young's the best point per dollar play on the board, and I don't think it's particularly close. So that's where I'm at. Snyder, you're 1 and 2 in this range.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cam Young 1 and Adam Scott 2. Did either of you guys have any conviction on Adam Scott this week? Do you think he's viable this week or just kind of a name?
For me, he's a guy I just typically don't play, so that's kind of why I'm not on him. But I mean, I could potentially be talked into him, I guess. I mean, he's not like he's just not a hoop guy, I guess.
So, okay. I mean, Sniper, you bring up a really good point. He's 32nd right now in the FedEx Cup. He looked good last week. When you look at this course, what do you need? You need distance off the tee. You got to hit fairways, and you need decent iron game. And I think it's pretty straightforward. Like, I think this is actually a course that gets set up pretty well for an Adam Scott. Not a lot of water, not a lot of places where you're going to get in trouble, that's where it seems like he typically gets in trouble. And if you're a stats guy, proximity, so where he's hitting it to the hole, he ranks very highly in this field. It comes down to putting for him. He should have the long putter. That's what it seems like he's been putting with lately. I don't know if you guys seen different, but anytime I see him play, usually it's a long putter. So he checks a lot of boxes. Snyder, he sold me. I'm in on Adam Scott. I'm adding him in. I like that play. Hoop, you're 1 and 2, and then 7K range.
Yeah, it's 3 for 3 on Cam Young as 1, and then Max Homa 2. Really like Max Homa. 7K range starts with a few cuts for me. Horschel, Henley, Harmon, just not playing those guys at this track. Cam Davis, just continue to play him, and the results continue to be very good. 5 straight top 16 finishes. He's a guy that in the past we just play at weaker field events. He's now showing up in the big boy fields as well. Great play. Course fits him well. Not sure on Davis Riley. He has been better the last couple events. Don't have strong conviction there. My guy Pindras, I like a ton at 7.4K. Been riding him quite a bit last week. 68th, not great. But again, I think this track sets up well for him. I'm going to go back to Spieth. I haven't been on Spieth in a while. He looked good last week, 13th. Curious to see what Snyder has to say about him. Our guy Mav at 7.2 was pretty solid last week. Round 3 really got him, but outside of that, 67, 67, 75. What did he shoot? 75 in round 3, and then 65 to close it out on Sunday. One of the better rounds there on Sunday. So if we can get Snyder's stamp of approval on Mav, I'd be willing to go back to him. I think Mito is interesting. A lot of birdie upside. He had a lot of birdies, I believe, last week. Yeah, like 18. He's cheap. The irons were very solid over the weekend for him. That's kind of it for me in this range. Really like Cam Davis, like I said, and Pindras. But we need to see on Mav. Like, can we play Mav or not? It's a big question.
Yeah, I agree with you quite a bit. A smaller range than we're used to breaking down this week. The question that we all are wondering, Snyder, what do we do with Mav McNeely, your boy, this week? And what are you doing with the 7K range?
Yeah, Mav hit his irons better last week, but the driver was not completely there. Lost 2 strokes off the tee, but gained 2 strokes with the irons. I think Mav's a fine guy to kind of sprinkle in there. I don't think I would get too carried away for him, but I think that's a very fair price tag. If he can get that putter rolling, he had it rolling last week. He gained about 4 strokes putting, and that's the main thing for him. If he can get those irons going and hit some putts, I think he's definitely a solid option here this week. I definitely like Cameron Davis. I put a tweet out earlier this week saying that he's averaging 19.8 birdies per event over his last 6 events. And now he's priced in the mid 7Ks, and this is a no-cut event. So we're going to get 4 rounds of him. He's going to be firing at pins, I think. I mean, the form is just absolutely great for him coming into this 13th, 14th, 16th, 6th, and 8th in his last 5 events. So I think his game is definitely trending right where we want it to. I was actually thinking he was going to be quite chalky this week, but I've only seen him right around 15%. I think that's definitely great for him this week. Brian Harmon's another guy, looks to be coming in right around 10%, maybe under 10%, I think. Don't normally like to target him on these longer tracks. but I don't think the scorecard is gonna play as long as the scorecard reads. With those two par fives, both those two of those par fives are playing well over 600 yards. Kind of extends this course a little bit. There are some good par fours here you can take advantage of. I think there was 5 par fours in the 390 to 430 range. So I think those are definitely some holes that Harmon can take advantage of. He's going to find a lot of fairways here. He's going to hit a lot of greens. Third place finish last week. I definitely like Harmon this week. Taylor Pindras, another guy I think we've all been on here recently. He's been playing great. I mean, he was in good position through 2 rounds last week. The weekend was absolutely brutal for him, though. But I think he's a guy that can bounce back here. He's still great. He was still great off the tee last week. Just the rest of his game kind of went down the drain there. He lost 6 strokes putting, lost 2 more strokes around the green. So I think Pindras definitely a guy we can go back to this week. I love the price tag for him and the birdie upside. Sahith Theegala is another guy. I think he's got great upside for this event. He's sitting just barely inside the top 30, I think, last I seen. This could be a huge for him if he can get into Eastlake as a rookie. That's going to set him up so much going forward next year without any pressure on him. He gets in all the majors. A lot of stuff comes with these guys getting into the top 30, so I think that's huge for Theegala. He's been hitting a huge a really high amount of greens in regulation. He can bomb it off the tee too, so I think this course sets up really well for Sahith. I think like Poston and Riley are a couple other guys that are good upside tournament plays this week. But yeah, I'm definitely kind of in lockstep, I think, with Hoop for the most part in this range. Excited to hear what you thinking on this, AP.
Yeah, I like the bomber narrative. And so I'm looking at Taylor Pendrith. I'm looking at Keith Mitchell and Cam Davis. Pendrith ranks 4th in driving distance. Keith Mitchell 7th, and Cam Davis 6th in driving distance. So I mean, those 3 absolutely rip it, man. They can bomb the ball. I'm with both of you on Cam Davis. The guy's not only driving it really well right now, he's playing phenomenal, and the finishes show that. T8, T16, T14, T13. I don't think any of us would be surprised if he posted a top 10 this week, a course that should set up very well for him. And he's a PGA Tour winner too, so he's a guy that should believe that he belongs. And I got to look here. He's so Cam Davis, despite how well he's playing, he's 57th, or no, he's 52nd in the FedEx Cup. So like, he's a guy that he needs a big finish. He needs a T5. Maybe someone has the calculation to figure out what it is that he needs to get into the top 30, but I think a T5 might do it, might get him close, or he needs to win. So he's going to be a guy that's playing with house money. He's going to be. Yeah. We saw with Lucas Glover last week. You know, he came in on the interview and he's like, I was playing. You know, he randomly out of nowhere comes out and plays phenomenal. He's like, I had no pressure on me playing with house money. He got in due to a withdrawal. Maybe Cam Davis and others, you know, Pendrith too, who's 69th in the FedEx Cup. Maybe those guys feel less pressure because they're not right on that cut line, you know? So it's going to be really interesting. I like those guys. I'm going to be heavy on them. I have Brian Harmon like tagged. He's 23rd. It's going to be, I don't know. I might go all in on the bomber narrative here. Even Davis Riley for me might make that cut. He's 19th, driving distance, can bomb it. Brian Harmon, not a long hitter. If it's a basic, easy, like traditional course, I don't know. I don't know if I want to play Brian Harmon or even Russell Henley or Billy Horschel or those types who aren't bombers of the golf ball on a course like that. So I'll probably be off of them. And it's a shorter range this week. I'm going to keep it nice and easy. I'm going to be on Pendrith. I'm going to be on Mitchell, Riley, and Davis. Theegala, I think you guys might have sold me on him. I'm going to keep him in my player pool, but I think I'm going to fade everyone else, and I feel pretty good about that. Snyder, you're 1 and 2, 7K range.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cam Davis, number 1. And then I'm going to go back to Taylor Pendrith, number 2 there. I think hopefully his ownership's down from that bad weekend round he had there. And a thing to keep in mind, and you were talking about those FedEx Cup points, all these, this tournament is going to be worth quadruple points. So like last week we saw Zalatoris win that event. It launched him up in the first place because that win was worth 2,000 points. So a lot can change here over this week. So it should be a fun sweat coming down the stretch.
Yeah, that's definitely right. And Sepp Straka's like 8th. Sepp Straka won. I mean, crazy. He won earlier in the year and then second place, and now he's 8th. Yeah. So you're definitely right. So that makes me like Cam Davis, Pindras, those guys even more. I think it's going to be less pressure on them, and they're just going to go out and shoot for it. So Hoop, you're 1 and 2 in this range, and let's finish it off 6K range.
With Snyder in this range, and I mean, to me, it's just very clear. Cam Davis, Pindras, like by far the 2 best plays. Love them. 6K, yeah, I mean, definitely going to come down here because I want to get exposure to the guys at the top. Man, our guy Chris Quirky continues to hurt our feelings. Man, but 6-7 now, super cheap. Might be back on him. I don't know. I haven't decided on him yet, but man, I do like some Quirky, and I like the 6-7 price tag. Scott Stallings, I think, is a pretty solid play at 6-6. AP, your guy Griot, I wish I would have listened to you last week, although he faded a little bit on the weekend. But 6.6K, he's been playing solid. Wyndham Clark, our guy, is just playing phenomenal right now. What's that? Like 6 straight made cuts, 6.5K. He hits it long off the tee, very long off the tee. Have to love him here. Have to love our guy Taylor Moore at 6.4K. Continues to play well. 31st last week. That was good enough for his price tag. Not sure what I'm going to do with Molinex. He's been playing really solid golf. Long off the tee. I might be looking to go back to him as well. Our guy Alex Smalley at 6.1K missed the cut last week. But might go back to him. And then Lucas Herbert, the guy that hits it long off the tee. A lot of up and down performances, but at 6.1K, you don't have to worry about a guy making a cut. So in on him. And then the last guy I have interest in is Kurt Kitiyama at 6K flat. Long off the tee, has some birdie upside, and proved that he was able to compete earlier on in the season when he finished second at the Scottish Open. So yeah, looking at maybe like 7 or 8 guys down here, potentially more, depending on what you guys have to say.
Yeah, really tough range. I think I'm gonna toy around with the optimizer. SaberSim is what we use, and I think I'm gonna set a rule to begin kind of my builds, or at least playing around with the builds, to where I only limit it to like 1 6K guy. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this range. There are a few interesting names, but I really don't know if I want 2 of these guys down here. But Snyder, maybe you can talk me into I know you're going to talk me into Taylor Moore a little bit more because he's been so good, but what are you doing with these 6K guys?
Yeah, I think there's some interesting stuff here. I was first looking at Kisner. He sits right inside the bubble, it looks like, the top 30. You know how much he's going to try and grind for that extra payday next week. So I think he's kind of interesting coming off that top 20 last week. Not sure if I'm going to get to him, though. I do like Scott Stallings. Saw birdie upside with him. He had made 20-plus birdies in the 3 events prior to that missed cut last week. So I think Stallings is definitely a good option there. Our guy Windham Clark, definitely a solid upside tournament play, like Hoop is saying. He's made six straight cuts. Yeah, had an 8th place finish a couple weeks ago. I think Mr. Clark has some decent upside. And then my guy Taylor Moore. I mean, the secret's out though. I mean, a couple weeks ago we were playing him. Maybe we were getting him at 1% owned. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. He's went 1%, 4%, and 7% owned last week. I still think he stays like under 10%, like right around that range. Super big upside with him. I mean, he's going to make a lot of birdies, but he's going to make some bogeys there too. But I think he's definitely going to outscore his position point, wherever that is. He's averaging 20.1 birdies over his last 6 events. He's definitely going to give some shots back, though, like I said, but I think his DK scoring is going to outweigh any of those bogeys that gets in his way. Another guy I'm going to be looking at, I think Trey Molinex, like Hoop said, I think he's going to catch some steam too. I think that's why maybe Taylor Moore will stay a little lower owned, is because a lot of people are going to go to Trey Molinex down here too. So I think he's definitely an interesting guy, but I don't think I can play both Moore and Molinex just because I think they're both going to come in kind of close to 10%. Andrew Putnam is the other guy I like down here. He's priced at 6,200. He's went 5th, 27th, and 11th in his last 3 events. I think that's great great upside there for him. He's got some pretty good birdie upside there too. I think he's sitting right around 48th or so. So he needs another solid finish here if he wants to somehow try and sneak in the East Lake. So I think that's a good price tag for Putnam at 6,200. But definitely on my guy Taylor Moore this week as well.
Yeah, very good. My favorite play down here is Trey Mullinax. The guy absolutely rips it, bombs it off the tee, ranks 10th in driving distance. First T21, 37th, 5th last week. Looked really good, really, really good. Then Wyndham Clark as well. He checks a ton of boxes, can bomb it in great form. I'm with you guys on a lot of these guys. Like Scott Stallings, I think is a good play. He can rip it, bomb it. Checks a ton of boxes. The guy that I'm wondering if he goes a little bit overlooked is the guy who lost the playoff last week, Sepp Straka. Like we forget he can bomb it off the tee. His driver's his best weapon. He's a shoo-in. He's guaranteed to make the top 30. He has no pressure on him at all. He's going to get a nice paycheck. Like he's playing like risk-free golf right now. And so I might go back to him. I wasn't on him last week. I wish he was. But if he found some of that form, I think this course sets up decent for him. Get his driver dialed in. The approach game is kind of questionable for him. But it's his driver and putter that really is what separates him, when he's on. I'll say when he's on, because when he's off, he absolutely sucks. So Sepp Straka, I think, is interesting, but I still stand by my rule. I think I'm going to limit it to like one 6K guy filled in. And the reason is because, man, look at like the 8K, 9K, 10K range. I want to load up on as many of those guys as I can. And then we do have a few elite plays, Cam Davis, Pendrith in the 7K range. I see myself topping it off with like a 6K guy. I would be fine finishing off a build with a Stallings, Wyndham Clark, Taylor Moore, Trey Mullinax, Sepp Straka, any of those guys. But as long as I limit it to one, I think is how I'm going to be fine finishing my builds. My favorite play in this range, Trey Mullinax. My second favorite play, Wyndham Clark. Trey Mullinax, notebook play of the week this week. I just think the course sets up so good for him, and he's been playing so good, and he's going to be popular down here. But we say it each and every week, none of these 6K guys are ever too highly owned. It's very, very easy to get overweight on them. Don't worry about ownership down in this range. That's the only thing I'll say. Snyder, your favorite play down here in the 6K range?
Yeah, I'm going to go with my guy Taylor Moore as my favorite play, but I'm definitely going to add Trey Mullinax in there with him. I wasn't sure if I was going to play them both, but I think I can definitely get them both in there pretty easily, I think.
What did you guys say about Kirk? Did you have anything to say or no?
I didn't have much to say about him. I just haven't really been playing him that much lately, and just like I just like it.
Financial situation to not be playing.
I've just been playing Taylor Moore.
He's like my problem with Quirky is like he's 63rd. His form has been bad.
Yeah.
If this course plays kind of like I think it will, I just think the guys that can hit it farther are gonna have the advantage when I look at it. I could be wrong, No,
I'm fine being off of him. I don't know. Yeah, nothing is looking good. I mean, honestly, and those cheaper guys in the 6K range to me are way more appealing. So maybe I'll be off our guy Quirky.
I mean, Trey Mullinax, 6,200, that's going to free up, the ability to get multiple guys up top. Tony, you could go Tony Fino, Trey Mullinax, Cam Young. Like that right there seems like a very, very, very strong way to start a build this week.
Yeah.
Your favorite play, 6K range?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be Wyndham and probably Taylor Moore. Like I said, I tell the story every week, but after his caddy gave my kids the golf balls, I'm in with Taylor Moore, and it's worked out well because he's been playing solid golf.
Yeah, it looks like he found something too. Seems like a really great guy. Speaking of great guys too, Tony Finau. I mean, I know you had a great experience with him too, but definitely rooting for him. And I think we're all going to be on him. But let's get to the winners segment. Snyder, I'm going to start with you, how we do it each and every week. We give who we think we're going to win. who we think's going to win, and then a long shot. So who do you got winning this week?
I'm just pulling it up right now. Let me find the guy. I was looking at Morikawa. I was hoping he was going to be a little better odds to win, but I'm going to go down a little further. I'm going to go.
Well, it doesn't matter. Your first guy who you think's going to win, the odds don't even look at the odds. Save that for the long shot.
Okay, I'm going to go Morikawa then at 20 to 1. Hopefully he can get through. And he might have better odds. At BetMGM, I was able to find better odds last week on some of these guys. I'm just have DraftKings pulled up right now. So I'm going to go Colin Morikawa as my favorite. And then do you want the long shot right now?
Always.
I'm going to go Cam Davis at 65 to 1. I think it was 75 to 1 earlier, and it's dropped to 65. So I think some steam may be coming in on Cam Davis there.
Yeah, I like it. Who do you got winning this week?
Yeah, I think it is going to be Mr. John Rahm. He's 14 to 1 on DK. I think he gets it done. I like what I saw last week. Still missed a lot of short putts, but was able to finish T5. So I like him. And then I'll go the other mid 7K guy that we like, Mr. Taylor Pendrith. What is he, about 60, probably 60 something to 1, maybe even more. So 90 to 1. So like that Pendrith 90 to 1 is my long shot.
Oh, that's nice.
I like it. Man, the long shots are tougher for me this week. Like the longest I could go is like Victor Hovland, but I like Cam Young 25 to 1, Victor Hovland 30 to 1. Shop it around though for sure. But I think Tony Fino, when I look at this course, the mojo he's in, I got Tony Fino winning 14 to 1. I'm not going to bet it, but I'm going to be very high on him for DFS purposes. Snyder, final thoughts this week.
Yeah, looking forward to this event. I think it's going to be a great event down the stretch. Hopefully there's a lot of tight scores there down the stretch, a lot of implications with the top 30. I'd like to see a big sweat. Hopefully we have some big sweats in DFS like we usually do as well there. Looking forward to we'll have the showdown content as well going on this week. We'll have some NFL preseason as well this week. That comes with the subscription. We had some free shows last week too on this Run Pure Sports Network, so look out for those. I think we'll have some more coming back next week. It was a great first week for us. We just played the plays. We played the right guys. We had our playbook was dialed in. The cores were dialed in. So looking for another successful week 2 preseason, and then some PGA Showdown too going forward.
Yeah, good stuff. You guys absolutely smashed the preseason. Very, very good content there. Something I'm not looking into. I rely, on you guys, and I just play what you guys tell me to play. Hoop, final thoughts this week.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Obviously a loaded field, and then, go down to the top 30 next week. This is the last real fun week for DFS for a while. Next week gets a little funky because of the, starting positions and things like that. Prize pools will still be big, but this is a lot more fun. 70 guys to choose from. Looking forward to following it this week. And, like I said, the field's just absolutely loaded. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, very good. Again, if you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. NFL 15 is the promo code that we have going on right now. It's going to get you 15% off for life as long as you don't cancel that membership. Saber Sim included. Fun week of golf. Again, you guys hit the nail on the head, kind of that last week. Then we get a little break. But we have NFL, then NBA's not too far around the corner. And things get very, very busy, and is the winning season a ton of fun. Again, thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. We have the Wednesday show tomorrow. Tambo, Big T, Uncle T, premium for members only. So if you're not a member, use that code that we just mentioned. Sign up. You'll get to see their takes. The playbook is going to be up very shortly, probably first thing tomorrow morning, if not tonight. Cash chart, core plays, everything up tomorrow. Get in Discord. We'll talk any weather edges or anything like that. I'm AP. That's Snyder. That's Hoop. Simon, get us out of here.